When you give them a do-over, when you correct the behavior and then tell them how they can do it differently, you're creating new neural pathways in their brains. Hi guys, welcome to today's video. We are going to chat about the most underused positive parenting tool that will make such a big difference in your child's behavior and in your relationship. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Ashley. I'm a mom of 7 and I absolutely love sharing things all about our family and parenting and how I have improved my relationship with my kids through positive parenting. If you are not new to my channel, welcome back, guys. So we all want our kids to be well behaved. We want them to be obedient. We want them to be kind. We want them to make good choices. We want them to eat their food without complaining. But we don't always know how to get them there. Oftentimes we just resort to what we know or the way that we were raised, which is a constant barrage of no, don't do that. Do you ever feel like a broken record? I know that I've absolutely been there. And let's just be real here. We're gonna be upfront and say, I am not perfect at any of this. I absolutely still make mistakes in parenting all the time. I don't always practice what I preach, but I'm constantly working on becoming a more positive, more peaceful, more engaged parent in an effort to improve my relationships with my kids and to help give them the skills that they need to grow into healthy, well-adjusted adults. Anyway, I don't know about you, but I've often had times where I feel like a broken record. Like I'm just constantly telling my kids no all day long, especially when they're younger, toddler, preschool age. It just feels like a constant, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. No, don't do that, right? Have you been there? I think most of us have. The other thing that we resort to are what I call coercion and manipulation tactics to get our kids to listen to us, whether that's yelling or spanking or threatening or bribing. All of these are unhealthy mechanisms for teaching our children obedience because they don't actually teach obedience. All of these manipulation and coercion tactics simply get compliance. And that does not change our children's hearts. It doesn't change their minds. It doesn't teach them what we want them to learn. It just teaches them that I'm not supposed to do that. So if I'm gonna do that, I need to be sneaky about it, or it damages their relationship and how they relate to and trust us as authority figures. We spend so much time trying to correct the behavior that we forget the disciple part of discipline. And disciple is to teach. We forget the teaching part of disciplining our children. It goes beyond just telling them, no, don't do that. We've got to actually teach our kids what we want them to do instead. And this is where the magic of the do-over comes in. The do-over works kind of hand in hand with redirection. Now, redirection I feel like is going to be your number one tool when your children are very young, but you can begin to incorporate the do-over even as young as babies. And I'll give you some examples in just a second. But sometimes there is no do-over possible simply because the action that they're performing, there's not a safe way to do it. So like if your kid is trying to stick a knife in an electrical outlet, you're not going to say, oh, let's have a do-over, try it with a feather instead. No, you're going to redirect your child away from the electrical outlet. You're going to tell them that's not safe, it could hurt you, and you're going to direct them to a safe activity. Why the do-over? When you simply tell a child no and stop what they're doing and that's it, you're not telling them what you want them to do. And when you give them a do-over, when you correct the behavior and then tell them how they can do it differently, you're creating new neural pathways in their brains, which means that you are actively and actually teaching them what you want, and you're giving their brain a different way to go. The brain is going to just kind of keep doing what they know works, even if it's something that they know they're not supposed to do, because they need that behavior to be redirected and channeled into something that is allowable. Now, people in general, but especially young children, have a hard time processing negative commands. So when you say, don't run, A child's brain has a very difficult time processing what to do with that. They don't know what to do instead. So for instance, with my children, I try to say, instead of don't run, I tell them a positive command of something that they can do, which is stop your feet, or slow feet please, or please walk. I tell them what I want them to do instead of what I don't want them to do. Does that make sense? So when it comes to the do-over, what you want to do is tell your child why the thing they're doing is not acceptable, and then you want to tell them how they can do that in such a way that it is, whether it's a behavior or words or whatever it is, what the acceptable way to do that thing is. So let me give you a few examples. So let's say your child comes into the kitchen and asks for a drink, and they come in and they say, "Mom, give me a drink of water." You probably aren't going to respond too well to that. You would like your children to use their manners. You would like them to be polite because you want to teach them to be polite to people outside of your home as well. So the way I would handle that is I would say, "I don't like the way you asked me that question. It was rude. Would you like a do-over?" Now, the older a child is and the more times they've had this example, you won't need to tell them what to say. But with a younger child, you would say, "Let's have a do-over. Try, 'Mom, may I please have a drink of water?'" And give them the words, because we like to tell kids to use their words, but they don't always know which words to use. So if we can help them out a little bit and tell them which words we would like them to use, then we give them an opportunity to create that new neural pathway, and we give them the skills and abilities to do the things that we're asking of them. So let's say you're asking your child to clean up their toys, and they start hucking their toys across the room into the toy bin, and you're afraid that, somebody's gonna get hit in the head. I would stop my child and say, "Please don't throw toys. Let's have a do-over." And then take the toy, put it back in their hand and say, "Let's walk this over to the toy box and put it in together." It really is just a matter of showing your child the behavior that you want instead of just telling them what behavior you don't want. And like I said before, you can even do this with babies. Now, of course, like I said, with babies, toddlers, you're going to do a lot more redirecting than you are true do-overs. But let's say that a baby is hitting a pet or hitting a sibling or hitting you. I will often take their hand, and I won't usually say, "Let's have a do-over." Though with my older kids, I do like to use the term do-over because it lets them know that I'm giving them grace and a second chance to try again. But with a baby, I'll say, "No hitting, use soft hands." And I'll actually take their hand and show them what I mean by soft hands, so that they know how to appropriately use their body, not to hurt people. Because, babies are babies. They can be kind of crazy, and they flap their hands in excitement and smack on things because they like the way it feels and they like the way it sounds. So we can show them how they can use their hands appropriately. I always think too that it's a good idea if a child is seeking to do a certain behavior, like jump on the furniture. Let's say you don't allow jumping on the furniture in your house. Can you give your child a safe alternative to that? You may not jump on the couch, but you may jump on your trampoline, or you may jump on X thing. Like, this thing is for jumping, this thing is not for jumping. And at the end of the day, it's most helpful for me to remember that my children are going to learn far more from what I do than from what I say. So if I show my children grace and patience and mercy and love, and if I model humility and forgiveness and kindness, those are the things that they are going to then mirror back to me. If I, through my actions and my words, I'm teaching them anger and frustration and unkindness, then that is what is going to be mirrored back through their own words and behavior. So use the do-over. See how you can implement do-overs in your home today. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I'm going to put my positive parenting playlist right up here if you would like to see some more positive parenting videos. And I'm going to throw my subscribe button right up here. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, I would love to have you here. I will see you in my next video. Bye.